Hello, good morning and welcome to day one of the AIG Women's Open for 2025 here at stunning Royal Porthcawl on the South Wales coast. The rain from earlier on today has cleared away. We woke up to grey skies, overcast conditions, a rattling wind, but look at it now. There are blue skies overhead, little polka dot clouds in the sky, and the sun is warm, the wind is blowing, and that is really what we want from links golf, isn't it? And here we are on the range on day one, alongside No Laying Up podcasts, Randy, Big Randy as everyone knows you, and former LET player and now consummate broadcaster Sophie Walker. Thank you so much for walking out here in the sunshine with me. What a spot and what a way to open the AIG Women's Open for this year.
It's exactly what this tournament deserves. First time we've come to Wales. It's the biggest female sporting event ever to hit this nation, and the sun has turned up for us, and it was just this wonderful scene as Charlie Hull holed her last couple of putts on the practice green and she walked to the first tee and the sun came out, and since then it has been absolutely gorgeous. We've still got a freshening wind, but this is perfect. This is great links golf weather.
And we've just seen, haven't we? We're standing on the range here, which is almost in the centre of things. There's a spectator village over to our left, and the course itself joins the range down this right-hand side. And this is the 9th, isn't it? There's a huge gallery down there because we think that's where Charlie Hull is playing now. You've got the best view, actually, Randy. How tall are you? 6'8"?
6'8".
So you can see over that wall over
Yeah.
there. Just what can you see down there? I can see somebody playing down that 9th hole.
You know, as I look over, I believe that was Charlie Hall. We see her follow through, kind of whips it off her shoulder, almost a second downswing that she makes. But you're right. Yeah, you look for the big galleries. They're out in full force behind Charlie this morning. I agree with Sophie. Just a spectacular setting here. The fan village is magnificent. Bring the kids.
This is all going to sound very normal. On the television, I think this looks rather odd because Sophie, how tall are you? You must be...
I'm 5'4".
5'4". I'm 5'6", and Randy is towering over us at 6'8". But you get the best view, and you can tell us what the conditions are doing up there. What would you say conditions on the opening day are like?
I don't think they could be better, truly. A bit of breeze. I think, Sophie, what would you say? It's fresh, but it's not a strong wind. I think I saw in my weather forecast app that it was about 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the west, northwest. And I think it allows for just enough challenge for the women out there on the course today, but certainly I think some scoring conditions, perhaps as good of conditions as we might see.
And on the driving range, this is one of the furthest parts of the golf course away from the water. So you would say standing here, you're looking at a club wind. But I think once you get out onto that first hole, those few exposed golf holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, down the side of the coastline, you'll be seeing more of a 2-club wind out there.
I can hear the distant strains of the Welsh national anthem, which is playing from a speaker somewhere over there. The best national anthem in the world, I would wager. There's nothing like it, is there? Randy, is this your first time visiting Wales?
It is.
As an American. What have you made of it so far? What are your highlights of Welsh culture?
Oh gosh, you're putting...
Like nothing else. The West Wales sunshine, the light here, the sunsets here, the grass, this crispy coastal grass, the sea breezes. And I've grown up playing coastal links golf up at the mighty Borthon Innislas, and Royal Porthcawl feels very similar. I love it down here.
And the drive into the golf course, it's a single track road, and there's people parked up surfing today. So there's a bit of an Australian coastal feel to it when the sun is out. But what I want you to try this week...
Yes, please, please.
Welsh rarebit.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to... What do you think that is? As my first question.
Well, I guess rabbit.
Aki.
No. Okay, I have no idea. I'm afraid if the more you tell me, the less
No,
likely I am
it's
to try
absolutely
it.
delicious, and
Okay.
it does sound quite strange. It's,
Okay.
it's Welsh cheese on toast, but they whip beer into it,
Oh,
so
that's
it's slightly
phenomenal.
frothy.
Spectacular. You
Okay.
must try it.
It's magic.
It goes well with a pint at the pub, I imagine.
100%.
You can have it any time of the day. That's
Okay.
what's great about. Well, so go in and say Welsh rarebit.
Okay. I was told about there's a breakfast scone type, a little Welsh cake.
A Welsh
maybe?
cake, yes.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's on
great
my
with
list.
a cup of tea.
Okay.
Yep, and a slice of bara brith,
Okay.
which is Welsh kind of really dense fruitcake bread.
Okay.
Cannot be missed.
This is great. This is great.
Yes, so that is the scene that we've set down here. We've given Randy some tips about what he needs to hit up when he's next in Porthcawl and when he's next going into the shops here. Looking at the leaderboard, we have an outright leader at the moment, Chisato Iwai of Japan at 4 under par, ahead of a group of 3 players at 3 under par. Mao Saigo, the Chevron champion. She won the first major of the year in Texas earlier on, the Japanese player. She's at 3 under par. Se-Young Kim at 3 under par of South Korea, and Andrea Lee, the American, also at 3 under par, and then Shihu Kuwaki of Japan at 2 under, alongside the US Open champion from Sweden, Maya Stark. And then a big bunch of players all at 1 under par, including the world number 2 Gino Titican. Rose Zhang, the American superstar, is on that marker. Brooke Henderson, the Canadian, also at 1 under par, as is former champion at the Women's Open, Ashley Buhai. She's at 1 under par. There's quite a number of players under par. A lot of the big names are playing well in the opening stages, would you say, Sophie?
You would, and if you look at the last 4 majors that we've had, all of the winners have been outside the top 20. We haven't had multiple winners of a major since Lilia Vu. And that has been the theme of this year. So many new winners on the LPGA Tour. But this golf course, this is a proper golf course, as we say in the north of England. And if you can get through those first holes, stay patient, then you can make a score. And the fact that it's the final major of the year, there's some big names that have not won this year, never mind a major, the likes of Nelly Korda. I think that's a sign, but also the strength of Japanese golf. You've got Yuka Sasso, that's won the US Open most recently, Ayaka Fudaway last year at the Evian Championships, never mind the Mao Saigo. The Japanese strength of depth is quite incredible at the moment.
And what can you tell us about these Iwai twins? So we have Chisato Iwai at the top of the leaderboard. Her twin sister, Aki, was just warming up here on the range behind her. She has left because she is teeing off very shortly. In fact, I think she may have already got herself underway, so we'll be keeping an eye on her. But these two have, they're young, aren't they? They're very exciting to watch.
Yeah, they are. I can tell you too. I'm sharing a hotel with them this week. They're staying at the same place Cody and I are staying. So we were joking. Maybe there's a celebration Sunday night that we could weasel our way into if one of the sisters were to win. They've burst onto the scene. I think, especially stateside, and just play a really aggressive, fearless style of golf, I think. Sophie would probably know maybe more intimate details than I do,
but pass it over.
Well, honestly, they're 2 women that I've watched some of their golf on TV, but this is the first chance will have to see them in person. So I won't pretend and say I have their games and their styles all figured out. That's part of what I'm looking forward to this week, is hopefully getting a chance to see one or both at parts during all 4 rounds.
And there's an interesting dynamic. Obviously, the fact that they're twins, everyone will find absolutely fascinating. It's always part of the story when they
identical twins.
Identical twins, exactly. And one of them is at the top of the leaderboard. So Chisato at the top of the leaderboard. How will Aki be feeling heading to the first tee?
Well, look what happened at Royal Port Rush. We had the Hoygaard twins up there. I mean, how proud must their parents be? What, as not being a twin, but they've never known any different. So they must have always been looking out for each other, looking out for each other's scores, being compared to each other. How you tell them apart is one's got long hair, Chisato, and Akea has got short hair. That's the way to do it. I've actually been out with Ake once up close in Thailand when she came second over at the Honda LPGA event in Thailand, and she hit golf shots that make you go, wow. She hit a shot into the 18th hole, which I didn't even think was on. She was in the rough, she hit 5-wood onto the green, and it took my breath away. She's the exciting one. She's the one that you need to tame and say, no, don't go at the flag, stay away from it. Chiazatu is the most sensible of them in terms of golf game. She's won already on the LPGA Tour, but both of them have been very, very successful over in Japan. So don't look at them and go, oh, these are rookies, they've only been out here a year. They're not. They've got plenty of experience, but over in Asia.
Interesting that you say that Chisato is the more sensible, conservative player. She's at the top of the leaderboard at 4 under par. Is that the type of approach that Royal Porthcawl merits today? And if Aki plays her game where she's attacking pins and she's going for it and she's being aggressive, is Porthcawl going to trip her up today?
We've been saying, sorry, I'm going to jump in here. We thought, and I say we, Cody and I have had many discussions about this golf course and this tournament. We have settled on patience being one of the keys this week. I think it's a golf course both off the tee, where sometimes, especially the par 4 holes, can take driver out of your hand. And it is no surprise to hear you say Chisato being the more sensible, perhaps a little bit more conservative in her golf, would be at 4 under. I don't know if patience, on a day like today, maybe it's you show up to the golf course and the conditions dictate whether, hey, maybe this is a day I need to put the foot on the gas and go try to shoot a low number. You would have better insight than me on that, Sophie.
Well, for those of you that are looking at the leaderboard at the moment and your favourite player is just starting and they might be a few over par after 4 holes, do not get stressed, because that's the difficult part of this golf course. Then you can pick up some scores 6 through to 13, and then you hold on to your hat, and at 18 you can make a birdie. So just if you're there looking, thinking, oh no, it's not a great start, and that might be what some of the players are thinking out there as well. It's up to their caddies to say, look, this is an 18-hole day one, and it's hard at the beginning and it's hard at the end. We just have to stay in the fight.
I think Charlie Hull fans would be saying exactly the same thing, wouldn't they? We've just seen her playing down the 9th away to our right. She was 3 over par, I think, when she was playing the 4th. But here she is coming down the 9th, making the turn. She's back to level par. She's picked up 3 birdies on the bounce. So, as you say, this is going to be a roller coaster of a championship.
Yeah, and I think Charlie was nervous on that first tee. There was a lot of people out there watching her, and she spoke in her press conference how she's a little bit unsure of how she's going to play because she hasn't had the amount of time to practice, because she's been unwell with a virus, carried a bit of a bad back, and Charlie's a doer. She likes to check off, right, I've been to the course, I've hit this many balls, I've done my putting, I feel prepared, and she wasn't as prepared as she would have liked, so that would have been an unnerving start for Charlie Hull. So the fact that she's now in the mode, she's obviously feeling better about her game because she's back to level par. This is good signs for her.
So Chisato Iwai of Japan leads the AIG Women's Open. Early stages, she is playing the 13th. She's at 4 under par. Mao Saigo, the Chevron champion, just tucked in behind her at 3 under par alongside Korea's Si Young Kim and the American Andrea Lee. Here on the range, as you look down, you can see some of the big names going out in the afternoon, just beginning to warm up. I can see the Solheim Cup captain, Anna Nordqvist, the 2021 Women's Open champion. She's taken off her waterproof trousers, so that is a good sign from Anna Nordqvist. She looks like she was wrapped up for an Arctic round.
You say
today.
That, is it a good sign for Anna Nordqvist? Because she likes bad weather. I think she plays her best golf in a beanie hat, so the morning 7 a.m. rain should have been hoping would have stayed.
And another player who loves the bad weather, loves the wind and rain, is the defending champion Lilia Vu, and she'll be heading out here onto the range shortly. She is teeing off at 5-1 later on in the group that they're calling Triple L, or that Lydia herself has christened Triple L. It's Lydia, it's Lilia, it's Lottie. And we've seen the massive groups, the massive galleries following Charlie Hull. How about the crowds that are going to be after that threesome, Randy?
Well, I wasn't around for Beatlemania, but it seems like we have Lottie Mania. It's incredible. She has been the talk of this tournament, this media center, the fan village, I think, and well deserving. Obviously won the Scottish Open last week, her first start as a professional. a couple weeks back won the Irish Open when she was still an amateur, was a top 10 low amateur here at this Open Championship last year. Sophie, do you think, talk to me about expectations in Lottie. Is she somebody that you think can handle these lofty expectations, that she suddenly finds herself not only in the spotlight, but the favorite coming into this week?
Yes, I mean, that is a crazy stat to see. Nothing like the British bookies to get all our hopes up there. 7-1, I believe that she was. The only thing where I would say Lottie doesn't feel her most comfortable is in that media centre, is with a microphone in front of her. And there's been a lot of demands on Lottie this week in terms of preparation that would have eaten into that preparation. And she is used to doing everything by the book her way. So she's been pulled from pillar to post, and that's a lot to be managed. When she gets out onto the first tee and gets onto the golf course, that's when she will feel more at home. She is so matter of fact. She is very straight talking. If anybody can handle this situation, she can. But none of us have ever been in this place. You know, it's very rare that this ever happens, but the one person that has is Lydia Ko, and that's who she's playing alongside. What a great pairing that is for her, just to talk to her. How does it feel? Lydia is very good. She will not blank her whatsoever. They're part of the same management company. And to spend 2 days with Ko, learning from her, is going to be vital for Lottie. Big stage, but she is a big player, and she is the only player in this field with a 100% record as a professional golfer, and that is unheard of. I mean, even the best players in the world, and I'm talking the likes of Rory McIlroy, only have a 10% record.
She's got to enjoy it while it lasts. We're hoping to speak to Lottie Woad a little bit later in this hour here on the range on AIG Women's Open Radio. We're just going to head out to the course though and get a quick update on the action out there. Ian Carter and Michelle Thompson are following Andrea Lee, Amy Yang and Leona Maguire.
Experienced Amy Yang, 36 years of age. She's clawed it back to level par here, and this is a chance to get into the red figures because she's hit a lovely tee shot into the par 3 12, sends the putt forward looking for the birdie, and in it goes. It disappears, and she's on a bit of a run now. Amy Yang gets it to 1 under par with a birdie at the 12th, and Michelle Thompson, she really has got into the groove.
Yeah, she's got into the groove now, and she's made a few birdies in a row, and she'll be hoping to continue that form going forward.
Very much so, very much so. Things looking good for the Korean. Amy Yang gets it to 1 under par, whereas pars for Alison Lee to remain at 3 under and Leona Maguire to remain at 1 over.
So another player joins that group, big bunched up group at 1 under par. Then there's a gang of players on 2 under, and then we've got a couple on 3 under, but it's Chisato Iwai of Japan out in front at 4 under par. Let's get back to our discussion about that group of the 3Ls, Lydia Ko, Lottie Woad. You were saying, Randy, you've got a little bit more to add about Lottie, your thoughts about her professional debut and how she'll be feeling coming into this major championship.
Well, one tidbit and one opinion, and I'm curious how you guys will react to this. The tidbit is the only woman since Dame Laura Davies to win both the Irish Open and the Scottish Open in the same year. Laura Davies did that in 1994. That's what Lottie Woad has done this season. And my opinion that I want to give on Lottie, and I know this is getting a little out ahead of things, but from where I sit, I'm based in the United States, of course, I think if Lottie Woad is to become a top 5 consistent major contender type player, I can't think of something better for the women's game and golf in general than an English, let's call her an English superstar, right? A potential English superstar. For as popular and as good as Charlie Hall has been, Georgia Hall has of course won a major championship. I think the game of golf, if we were to have a true #1 contender in Lottie Woad, I just think golf is a better place when the English fans can get behind somebody like that.
Sophie?
And there's nothing like the English media to rise her to the top and then knock her back down. But the times are different since Dame Laura won this event, even since Georgia Hall won this event. Things have changed. Look around you. There's more people here, there's more media, and the English press certainly are looking to get behind some female sport. We saw it with the Lionesses when they won the Euros at the weekend. the time is now for somebody to do that. The pressure has been on Charlie Hall the last couple of years. I felt when we were at Walton Heath, I felt it on that Sunday. If she wins, this is just going to ignite something. It's going to change everything, because the Lionesses were playing that week as well. It is a lot of pressure because she is an English player. And we're playing our home events, the AIG Women's Open. If you're going to start your professional career, though, as a Brit, why not go Ireland, Scotland, Wales? This is where she feels most at home. This will be all the speculation. It's all over her. She's played this golf course numerous times with Nigel Edwards, who is the head of England Golf. Loves playing links golf. I mean, this is the kid, sorry, she's 21, but this is the kid that holed her final shot last year at this event. It went in at St Andrews. Stuff happens to Lottie Woad. Yeah. And that is, she practices really hard, but the fact that she finished with 4 birdies in the last 6 holes at Augusta National, she holes out for eagle on the 18th hole at the Old Course. That's like magical.
She's a player for the big stage. You mentioned, though, the pressure on Charlie Hull a couple of years ago at Walton Heath and the tension we all felt during that last round. And Charlie was feeling that tension and that expectation as well. And she knew it was such a great chance for her, and lost out in the end to Lilia Vu, who played phenomenally, didn't she? How does Lottie Woad cope with that pressure? What kind of personality is she to deal with that pressure?
They're very different. Yeah, one is very fast talking and jittery and full of energy, and the other in Lottie says it with very few words is what she's trying to do. They both have got incredible work ethics, don't get me wrong. I hope Lottie will not look too much at social media. She has mentioned, that's not for me. I don't want to know about what's going on. And she's very much about a process. And when you're with any form of athlete that talks about the process and doesn't start thinking about the outcome, then they're in a great place. I've mentioned how matter-of-fact she is, how poised she is, how mature she is. You will not know if Lottie Woad is level par, under par or over par. And the way that she works her way around the golf course, there's a strategy there, and she will not leave that strategy. And both of them, both her and Charlie, love hitting the golf shot how they want to hit it. It's not really about the trophy at the end of it. It's, have I done what I wanted to do out there? They take great excitement from hitting quality golf shots, and as long as they stay excited for practicing and playing, then they'll be all right. The pressure is huge, but you know, what did they say? Pressure is a privilege, and Lottie has to lean into that.
Fascinating hearing her talk in the press conference, Randy, about how much she enjoys practicing, how much she enjoys the process, and that it's the result that doesn't really matter, because it's almost exactly what we heard Scotty Scheffler say in his press conference prior to winning the Open at Portrush 2 weeks ago.
I think it's the mindset that you have to be an elite golfer, and an elite athlete, or elite at anything in this life. I think it has to be process oriented. I think you have to love the process. You have to love getting up and putting in the work. And so for her to say those things, I agree with Sophie. She's built differently, certainly, than Charlie Hall, just her outward demeanor. It doesn't make one better than the other, but it is a different mindset that I think Lottie Woad has. And the only insight I can add is, I haven't talked to Lottie personally yet, but speaking to some of the people around her and who do know her, you know, they joke that sometimes they're not sure she has a pulse, right? Like her ability to not get wrapped up in big moments, seemingly not feel or internalize that pressure, is really an asset when it comes to tournament golf. It's impressive for a 21-year-old.
But also, Randy, Lottie Woad went to last year's AIG Women's Open wanting to win. It was just that nobody asked her the question. You know, so she birdies the first hole on that Sunday, and she's not looking at a Smith Salver. She's looking at winning a tournament. She went to the Evian Championship as an amateur a couple of weeks ago, looking to win. She has that belief in herself, and now she knows. She played alongside Nelly Corder and Charlie Hull last week in Scotland, and her game held up rather well.
And I was going to say, for folks that maybe haven't gotten to watch much of her game, how does it compare with a Nelly Corder? Is she as long as those players? What are the real strengths, in your opinion, of Lottie's game?
She's as long as Nelly. You know, averaging over 260 off the tee. If you talk about 7-iron yardage, you're looking at around that 160 number, 160 yards carry, which is just above average on the LPGA Tour. Her wedge game, I would compare it to Lydia Ko. That's how high the standards that I would have with that. And in terms of her chipping, she's not bad at chipping, and holes putts when it matters. In terms of putting, I would put her up alongside some of the best on the LPGA Tour at the moment, like Angel Yin.
Well, Lottie Woad, Lilia Vu, Lydia Ko, the Triple L group, they go out at 12:54. In the group, just before them teeing off at 12:43, Ayaka Foodaway, Jin Hee Im and Solheim Cup star Lynn Grant, who has joined us here on the range. Lynn, thank you so much for giving up your time following the warm-up. I take it you've gone through the bag, you've made your preparations. How's the game feeling?
Yeah, I'm just starting warming up today, but it feels good. I mean, my motto this week is just go out and have fun and enjoy playing in the breezy conditions and make the most out of it. Really try to stay as relaxed as possible. You know, you're gonna get some knocks out there, I'm sure. Not get too frustrated with some bad lies, and yeah, just have fun.
This is your kind of golf, isn't it? In the wind, you love it like this.
I enjoy it, yeah, but you just have to have the right mindset when you go out there. You can't be too demanding of your game, and just, you know, be really open for anything to happen.
And what have you made of Royal Porthcawl? I take it you've never been here before. So many of the field have never seen this golf course before. What are your first impressions?
I love it. I mean, I went out on the back nine on Monday, and I just said this is such a nice place. I think it's links golf at its best. You know, you get rewarded for hitting really good shots, but you can also get punished for not hitting them. So I think there's a good balance to it. I feel like you can score really low, but it always has to do with the wind and the conditions of the day.
And weather-wise, players' point of view, we're always looking right, wrong side of the draws. You must have been delighted when that yellow circle in the sky came out.
I mean, it's looking good today for sure, but then, you know, I tried to not look at the weather app too much this week. Just know that I have to be prepared for anything before I go out.
Lynn, we thought patience might play a big factor this week, knowing when to, you know, kind of accept par, play for par, and when to go for it. Has that been something you've thought about in your preparation around here? And how do you strategize, hey, now's the time to really go for it, hit the shot, try to make birdie, or maybe hey, par's a good score?
I feel like par is always a good score out here. I mean, even looking at the par fives, they are reachable, most of them, but there are still some tricks to them. But like I said, not go out and expect too much. I mean, a score on 72 or 71 today is really good, and just try to have 4 rounds where I keep myself patient and enjoy my days.
First time that the AIG Women's Open has been held in Wales. What are your impressions of the country, the culture? Where are you staying? How have you been soaking it up?
Oh, it's great. We're staying in Bridgend, like 20 minutes from here. I think it's a cute little place. I mean, obviously the area around the golf course is always amazing, and there is a lot of golfing spirit here. So it's always fun to come back to the AIG and play in places like this, where golf is such a big historical part of the city.
And you'll have great galleries following you, I'm sure, Lynn. Thank you so much for giving up your time. We'll let you go and get your workout underway, get everything warmed up and head out on the course. Lynn Grant teeing off at 12:43 later on this afternoon. And then we say, as that group of the 3 Ls, Lydia Ko, Lilia Vu, Lottie Woad, they go off at 12:54. And then a little bit further down the tee times, 13:16, Aria Jutanagan, Nelly Corder and Angel Yin tee off, so the world number 1 getting her campaign underway at 16 minutes past 1. Just a quick check at the leaderboard. I think my iPad is still up to date. It's very hard, isn't it, to tell whether the signal is reaching down here on the range. Chisato Iwai at 4 under par. Andrea Lee has joined her at 4 under par, the American, so a two-way tie at the top of the leaderboard. Mao Saigo, major champion from earlier on this year, she's at 3 under par. And then a bunch of them all at 2 under par. How many is that? 6 players at 2 under par, including Amy Yang, Maya Stark and the world number 2, Gino Titical. Rose Zhang is in there as well. But let's get out onto the course and catch up with some of the action. And Richard Kaufman is out there.
After back-to-back birdies, an eagle putt now at the par 5 ninth for Gino Titical.
Yeah, she had a great second shot. 202 yards, centre of the green. Left herself 30 foot for eagle. Uphill, right to left. Should we go a little left to right at the end? Has she read it right? Has she? Not quite. She's hit a great putt, but it has stayed out for eagle.
Is she going to just step up and tap this in? I think she will do. It will be 3 birdies in a row for Gino Titical. She's at 2 under. Charlie Hull looking to make it 4 birdies in a row to end this front 9.
Yeah, she's had the perfect response to a disappointing start. 12 feet, right to left for birdie on the 9th. And there it is. Flag stayed in as it always does for Charlie, and that's a great putt. 4 in a row, takes her into red figures.
Well, the way she started, you thought this was going to be a disappointing day for Charlie Hull. Birdies at 6, 7, 8 and now 9, and she turns 1 under par. So, Minjee Lee to make it 3 birdie 4s in this group. No problem at all. Knocks it in from 4 feet. Well, they have a bounce in their step, don't they, these 3, heading into the back 9?
Yeah, another reachable par 5 they've all made the most of, and that's what they need to do out here today. They know the par 5s where they have to make their score, and for these 3 players, that's exactly what they've done on the 9th hole. 3 birdies to wrap up the front 9.
Tough starts, but all 3 players head to the back 9 under par. Gino at 2 under, Minjee Lee and Charlie Hull at 1 under.
How about that? 4 birdies on the bounce for England's Charlie Hull. And you were saying, Randy, patience is going to be a factor. Sophie, you were saying that a big score early on, you've just got to put that behind you because there is a scoreable opportunity out there and you can get on a run. And Charlie Hull has just proved that.
Don't look at the score, just play golf. And I'm sure that's what Adam Woodward would be telling her. Just settle into it, Charlie. Because she's excitable in one aspect, but she's nervy in another. That's why she's so great to watch. You mentioned Lottie Woad, it's just like this. But from a media point of view, we want the highs and the lows. Yeah, I just did a mini fist pump there because
it was caught on camera.
Yeah, sorry, I'm quite. I am a fan of Charlie. I can't lie, and I'm desperately wanting her to do well because that's what you live it with her, don't you? She's very similar to Rory McIlroy when you watch her play golf, and if she's playing well, then all these people are going to come out to watch her. She's such a role model. There's so many little girls here today with the blonde ponytail, and you can even buy a ball marker with Charlie Hull's face on the side, and she'll put a actually, I must say, she hasn't had her sunglasses on recently since she's not been very well. I've not seen her in those aviators, so she might need to get those back on. But I think she's just showing us now, as the day progresses, how Royal Porth progresses into the round of golf.
Do you think, Randy, there's an element of Charlie Hull that's like, look, you may all be talking about Lottie Woad, this new English superstar, but I've got a point to prove.
I think so. I think any professional athlete has that competitiveness, right? She would never admit it, and she shouldn't say something like that. But I would think deep down there's probably an aspect to that. And I think moving off Charlie too, I think Nelly Korda would probably be feeling the same thing this week, right? We talked about that last night on our podcast. I think it's a good point, and I think it's one of the things I'm so curious to see how some of these women that have been top 5, have been in the heat of competition like this, how they react this week.
And I've been on record, I'm a stats girl, Kat. Her first rounds have not been good enough. She has been that 2 shots behind the likes of Korda and Gino Titical, and she's behind the 8 ball too much. If she can go and post something around level par or better, which is exactly what is needed, then things can change, because you can't be giving these players a head start. And she did in the first hour of golf, but well done for coming back.
Do you think there's a level of expectation in Charlie that's a lot lower coming into this round, this major championship, than there has been in the past? She's not been very well. We saw her collapse at the Evian. She has the virus. She's talked about how long it's taken her to get over that. Then she's injured her back mending a gate. I mean, only Charlie, the number of injuries she's had from bizarre circumstances, Charlie, throwing toys for her dog, slipping off a pavement. I can't remember them all, but
There's always something.
there's always a bit of drama, isn't there? But she talked her chances down hugely in the press conference yesterday.
The line that stuck with me is that I want to see my name on the trophy. That's the first, you say she's spoken it down, but that line, it was like a snap reaction to, I don't want to be in the limelight, I want my name on the trophy. And I thought, yes, that's what I want. And then when you looked at her warming up, in terms of her team around her, a couple of coaches, obviously the caddy, she's got her best friend James here, she's got her fitness coach here. They are circling around Charlie and making her as comfortable as possible. Home comforts is when Charlie Hull plays at her best, and that team know that. And she's very, she's an individual sports person. But I think the family and the friends realise that she's not at 100%, and Charlie needs them, and they've come down to support her, which is that's the team that not everybody else sees. And she's given her fans something to cheer about. And she mentioned when she was at the Scottish Open, she maybe only feels 80% fit. There's nothing like a few birdies that make you feel better.
And she's been out for a jog, which is what Charlie Hull needs. So she's back jogging after a couple of weeks off with this horrible virus that struck her down at the Evian. Delighted to say we've got another guest joining us on the way. This is the best place to be. People are passing by all the time. There's a huge crowd leaning on the railings here, watching the world's best players warming up. And Trey Niven has joined us. Hello, Trey. Trey is a broadcaster. You're a PGA professional. You're a coach. You're a general golf needle mover.
Sounds good, that, doesn't it?
I've given you all kinds of titles there, Trey. Thank you so much for giving up your time to come and talk to us. What are you making of the first day of the AIG Women's Open?
Oh, I mean, I have to say, like, throughout the course of a year, I hold my hands up. I don't watch enough women's golf, but I remember speaking to Soph about this last year at St Andrews. I was at St Andrews, watched the whole tournament, and it was absolutely awesome. And I said to myself, I'm going to be here next year and do it again. And I'm in the same situation where I get here and I get excited, uncovering new talent, seeing some of the superstars, your Nellies, Lottie, who is obviously on her way to headlines and doing everything that she's doing right now. But it's an exciting week. I mean, new golf course as well to host this event, and it's a prestigious golf course. And also the weather. I mean, what more can you want in a Randy's going to probably already told you about the weather, but we're getting everything. I expected rain this morning, came out, and it's actually nice and sunny, but I'm just excited to be here.
And that's, it's important for people in the media to say that I want to be there. That I worked with Trey a couple of months before the AIG Women's Open last year, and we must have been covering some LPGA and PGA Tour together down in London, and he said to me, I've got to be there. I'm going to make an effort and be there. And it's not about, somebody's got to pay me to be there as a job. Trey's going, no, I'll be there. If you want me, you can use me. But I'm excited to get down to Porthcawl or to St Andrews. And that's what the women's game needs. It needs these allies.
I was just going to say, Trey, my experience was exactly similar to yours. Just a couple years earlier, when the Women's Open went to Muirfield in 2022, I circled it on my calendar and said I need to be at that event. It was significant for this championship to go to Muirfield in and of itself. I had never seen that golf course, and I had the best time. Right, the weather was wonderful. It was a heck of an ending there with Ash Buhai winning in a playoff, and now this is my fourth consecutive Women's Open. So I look forward to seeing you in the years to come. Also,
I appreciate it. I'm excited, and even just reminiscing off last year, like the chase and everybody that was in the mix and what it came down to on the last hole at a special venue like that as well. And I'm hoping we get something similar come Sunday.
So we've got the big stars that you're excited to see again. You mentioned Lottie, who's going to be heading out on the range here any minute. We've got Nelly Corder, who you mentioned. You enjoyed following her at St Andrews. Mm-hmm. Who's the new talent that you're looking to follow? Who are you hoping shines this week?
Helen Breen, obviously, she turned pro last year, did her thing on Access and got her wins over there, turned pro and then won her first event on LET. I mean, when I see girls like that come out with excitement and different swings as well. I mean, she absolutely rips the ball. She's really, really nice girl as well. But she's tall, yeah. I know. She is as tall as Randy. I'm looking up to her.
She's the tallest player in the field. I think she's the tallest player ever on the Ladies European Tour.
But girls like that, they're exciting to watch as well. They just bring that little bit of something where it kind of catches your eye. You see her on the range and it catches your eye. You see her on the golf course, it catches your eye. And we're, as golf fans and fanatics and pundits and broadcasters, we're always looking for a superstar, aren't we? Who's going to be the next person to take over this game?
And she will be teeing off at 11:48 alongside the Solheim Cup captain, Anna Nordqvist. So she'll be looking to make a good impression, won't she, on the former champion, and Aki Iwai, whose sister is up at the top of the leaderboard. So that is going to be a really fascinating dynamic in that group to watch. I was talking to you yesterday, Trey, as well, about the course itself, and you were saying about the opening holes here and how much fear they struck into you when you walked.
Yeah, I stood on that Pro-Am tee on Tuesday morning and I was like, what am I doing here on this first tee? I thought I'd have a break, and then I stood on 2 and it was exactly the same thing, but luckily I got a few away. But we was chatting yesterday and I said, it wasn't actually that rash. I said, I think this is the toughest start, at least the toughest 6 holes that they've probably had in a women's open, because we've seen Charlie already. I'm sure you've spoke already, but what was she, 3 over and she made 4 in a row? I think if you stood on 6 or 7 tee, a couple over par, you got to be happy with that. I mean, it's not actually that bad. I think this course is all about managing your expectations, understanding that bogeys are actually okay, and just managing to limit the damage, I guess.
The wind is obviously a huge factor on those opening holes, whistling as it does off the sea, which is all down the left. What else is out there? What other traps are there?
I mean, I was speaking about this 2 weeks ago at Port Rush. Harry Colt had his touch on the course, a lot of natural undulations, and then you've got very similar stuff here as well. When you see it on TV, I hope the cameras can pick it up, but every fairway's got some very subtle nuances to it, where you might be on an upslope, a side slope, or a downslope, and it can really play a huge factor into the approach shot of being able to get it close. Played with Carlotta Saganda, and she said to me about the premium in playing from the fairways and being able to control the ball downwind, crosswinds, because this course really does 360. So there's lots of different things to it, and it's going to be so exciting to see how the girls get on this week here.
Now, we have a very small table here at the range. We've already got 4 people standing around it. We're going to bring in a 5th. It's getting very crowded here. Delighted to say we're joined by the 2023 champion, Lilia Vu. Lilia, thank you so much for giving up your time here on the range. How are you finding Royal Porthcawl, and how much at home are you here in Wales?
Not so much like home, but it's super beautiful. It's going to be tough and fun, super windy. I'm actually staying nearby on the course, so it's been cool to be around here. The weather's perfect, so hopefully it stays like that for the rest of the week.
I heard you're in a static caravan. Is that true?
It's changed.
No.
Oh.
I'm confused.
No, I was told you were staying in a Sophie had got some intel earlier.
I spoke to Mum earlier in the week. Sorry, Kat, I've been
changing
updating you.
booking.
Yes, almost, but not quite.
But you're comfortable and
Yes.
you're happy
Yes.
and you're near the course.
Absolutely, yes.
And what have you made of the course? Practice rounds, how have they gone for you?
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. This course kind of reminds me of Muirfield a couple years ago, but should be difficult for everybody, the windy conditions, and yeah, I think you got to be smart off the tees.
You've won this championship. How much does it mean for you to be a defending champion and a past champion?
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, I think this is my favorite win out of everything. I mean, I've come back from that injury in the same year, and it means a lot to me. It kind of, transgressed my career, kind of reminded me that I'm resilient, and that's something that I need to remind myself about a lot. And yeah, it's been so fun, and I'm happy to be here.
Sorry, Lilia, this is a non-golf question, so I hope you don't mind. I know you're a big reader. Can you talk to me about what you've been reading lately?
Yeah, so I finished Inner Excellence a couple months ago, but what I've been going back to a lot is Be Water, My Friend, by Shannon Lee, Bruce Lee's daughter. That's kind of the theme of it, is just be adaptable, and that's what I try to do every single day. So that's what I've been reading.
Best of luck taking that out onto the golf course. Thank you so much for coming to join us. We'll let you crack on. You've got also, can I just ask you about the other players in your group? You've got Lilia Vu and you've got Lottie Woad. I mean, this is the marquee group of the day, isn't it?
Yes, I'm super excited to play with them. There's going to be a lot of people watching. You know, Lottie's super great. She's had an amazing run the past couple of weeks. It's amazing. So I'll be very excited to play with her.
Brilliant. Well, go out and enjoy it. Thank you so much, Lilia. We'll let you go out and
Thanks,
get your
Lilia.
preparations finished off. Lilia Vu there, the 2023 champion at Walton Heath. What a great week that was in the sunshine and that battle with Charlie Hull on the final day. Great to see Lilia back here. Not in a static caravan, though. I'm a bit sad about that. I thought that was a great story.
I spoke to Mum Yvonne, I think it was yesterday, and I didn't update you. So they have changed to a hotel, but they're on the 3rd floor and there's no lift. So I'm slightly worried about Lilia's back if she's got the lift or that suitcases up there, because that has been the story of Lilia Vu the last few years. Yes, she's had a couple of major championship wins, but she's been injured. She's got quite a bad back injury, and this has been the year that she's come back. And interestingly, she said about reading that book. That was the book that she read when she was really struggling with her game. So Lilia Vu came out onto the LPGA Tour, missed every cut and had to go back to the feeder tour below it and really lost herself and her game. And that book was the one that really got her on track. And the fact that she's reading it again, it's so often with us players, it's let's go back to what worked then. But this is a big 3-ball for her. I know, you know, as a champion, you'd want to be in that 3-ball, but right now, I think she would take hiding a little bit just to get back into it.
She's not the kind of player that would enjoy being followed by the galleries at the moment.
Well, unfortunately, Lilia has not had the greatest form. She did have a runner-up this year in late March at the Ford Championship on the LPGA Tour. Since then, has not made a cut. And I you know, Sophie mentioned her back injury. I mean, she was very open. She didn't know if she would be playing golf again with the back injury. And I think that I'm sure lingers, right? There's always some type of fear whenever you get out on the golf course that will it come back. And so I just hope getting back to the AIG Women's Open, you know, obviously she won in 2023. She was part of the runner-up group last year at the old course. I really hope, you know, she can summon something, maybe these westerly winds off the Bristol Channel. Find some vibes. Whatever it is, golf is a much better place, you know, when Lilia Vu is on top of her game and competing for major championships.
It's tough as well. I think when I studied her form from last year to this year, and she missed a load of cuts, I was looking into it and why. And obviously she's had a back injury, but in a game that's full of length now, she's actually dropped a little bit back off the tee due to changing things with her swing and the injury, and it must be quite hard for her seeing everyone pick up yards, and she's actually come back off the tee. So her putting's still there though, so hopefully this week a bit more roll on the fairway, she's up there.
And let's hope she can rediscover some of that form that won the AIG Women's Open a couple of years ago, and that she's lifted by the atmosphere surrounding that marquee group with Lilia Vu and Lottie Woad teeing off at 12:54. Quick look at the leaderboard tells us that we have a solo leader in America's Andrea Lee, a US player at the top of the leaderboard, Randy. That makes good reading for you. And Shihu Kawaki, Mao Saigo, Chisato Iwai, 3 Japanese players in the chasing pack alongside Sara Kuskova at 3 under par. Let's get back out onto the course and to Ian Carter.
Well, Kat, you were saying that there was a solo leader in the shape of Andrea Lee. It didn't last, because the 14th, let me tell you, is a formidable test as you turn back towards the sea and into the wind, and a tee shot went into the bunker down the left-hand side. She splashed out, couldn't get up and down from a good 120 yards out, indeed missed the green to the left, 2-putted from just off the green. So the first drop shot of the day to Andrea Lee. She slips back to 3 under par. Amy Yang's going along very nicely, followed up her birdie at the 12th with a birdie at the 13th to get to 2 under, has made a regulation par at this 14th hole, but unfortunately from Leona Maguire's point of view, she also drove into the bunker that swallowed up Andrea Lee's ball, and that resulted in another bogey for the Irish woman, who slips back to 2 over par. Our group now waiting on the par 3 15th tee.
So 5 players now tied at the top of the leaderboard at 3 under par. Trey, what's your plan for the rest of the day? You're getting back out onto the course, going to see some of the action?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get out and watch some of the girls, see how they're... I'm going to study them first 6, actually. I said it earlier, didn't I? See how they're playing, what sort of tee shots, clubbing they hit, and got a couple of Q&As, actually. One with Dame Laura and Charlie, hopefully, when she finishes her round. So hopefully she's in good spirits and can finish strongly. So yeah, that's me for the afternoon.
That sounds brilliant. Good couple of conversations there. Trey, we're going to let you go and prep for that. But thank you so much, and hopefully you'll join us on the range again later on in the week. Share your thoughts on the rest of the major. We're still here on the range on day 1 of the AIG Women's Open here at Royal Porthcawl. It is getting busy. There's a crowd here now leaning on the rails because there are some big names just arriving here on the range to make their final preparations. Georgia Hall is just walking along behind us here. She's heading off. And right behind us, I don't know if you can see, is Darcy Harry. Now, this is the Welsh girl, the Welsh star, who is a member here at Royal Porthcawl. And she won in Belgium on the LET, the Ladies European Tour. It's her rookie season, and that has qualified her to play here at the Women's Open at her home club. And that's a fairy tale in the making, isn't it, Sophie?
I bet she's not used to all these signs and people watching and cameras. It's normally a lot quieter here for Darcy. She mentioned how these tee boxes, I've never played from those before, but it's a fairy tale. It's the first time this event has been in Wales, and it would have been marked on her calendar. All the members would have been saying, "Are you playing? Are you playing?" And she wasn't qualified. So the fact that she got in through the Ladies European Tour meant she didn't have to go to pre-qualifying. Well, I bet she's glad there's some railings here, because the amount of people that are going to be coming out to watch Darcy today, she needs to stay clear of them. But yeah, what a wonderful, wonderful experience, and let's hope she takes it all in.
She said that she knows it's going to be a nerve-wracking week for her. I mean, it's quite a mature approach, isn't it, to already expect that and to already anticipate how it's going to feel on that first tee.
Absolutely. You know, I hope they gave her extra ticket allotment for this week. I'm sure she had not as many as she could give away. I think today is a big day specifically for Darcy. I think getting out, as we said, being patient, especially these first couple holes. If she can get off to a good start, I think that would go a long way for her. If she could post something around 71, 72, I think that would be a dream start, and let her kind of settle into this week and hopefully build momentum as the weekend progresses.
Patience, pars and process. You've mentioned the 3 L's. I think we're going for the 3 Ps
there we go.
now.
We got it. We got it. I was going to say, sorry, real quick too. I was so delighted to see the RNA put out a media guide for this championship, and they have Darcy talking through, giving her thoughts on each of the holes, which I thought was an excellent touch. I hope she didn't give away too much if any of her competitors were reading that as well, though.
Who better to do a course guide than Royal Porthcawl member Darcy Harry? And she is just going through her bag now, going through her wedges, and next to her, tying up his shoelaces, is Jacob Skov Ollison, who is her boyfriend, and he is also a player on the DP World Tour. He was the leader of the Open Championship after the first round just a week ago at Royal Portrush, and so he's going to be bringing all of his expertise. In fact, he was on the bag for her when she won in Belgium.
Indeed.
Caddy in the making.
And Darcy offered to caddy at Royal Portrush. She said no. So she just walked around. But what a year these two rookies have had, both of them qualifying for their Open Championships and experiencing it together. She'd take 5 under today, just like Jakob.
She definitely would. Obviously, he didn't have a great day the following day. And
made the cut, though.
Made the cut, exactly. But what is a lovely dynamic between the two of them is the competition between the two of them. The fact that on their rookie seasons they compare their results, and whoever gets the lowest score that week is bought dinner by the person with the highest score. I think that's a nice dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you lose money twice. Surely the winner buys dinner.
Let's get back out onto the course, shall we? We'll leave Darcy Harry to go through her bag. Richard Kaufman can bring us up to date.
Gino Titican, the halfway leader at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, the leader after 71 holes at the Evian Championship just 3 weeks ago, and now a putt to take a share of the lead at the AIG Women's Open, around 6 feet at the par 3 12th.
And you would have got a great read off Minji. Same line. Gino had to move a marker, so it was perfect line. Get a read. 6 foot up the hill. There it is. That's another birdie for Gino, which takes her into share the lead at -3.
Is it her time? Gino Titican gets to 3 under par.
So Gino Titican joining the leaders at 3 under par. Here on the range, we've just had the first glimpse of the name on everybody's lips. Lottie Woad walking past as she's gone down to the kind of far left end of the range. She's smiling. She's just doing some twists with the club wrapped around her shoulder blades. She's got her coaches there, her caddy, and she looks incredibly relaxed.
And in true Lottie style, down the left-hand side of the range would mean that 1, she's far away from us, and 2, she is playing downwind rather than a crosswind. She's worked it out. That's where every pro wants that left-hand side because it won't affect her shots as much. She's there with Luke Bone, her childhood coach from Farnham Golf Club, all smiles, dressed in Leeds United white.
Leeds United white, very good observation there.
I was just going to say, for the people especially listening, Lottie Woad, we're saying, is at the far end of the range, and it's just major champions to her right. Lilia Vu, who we talked to earlier. You have Jin Young Ko to Lilia Vu's right. You have Georgia Hall. You have Ayaka Furuwe. It is fantastic scenes right now out here on the driving range.
And then Kat Downs is next to her.
and
Anyway,
then me, and then Sophie, yeah.
Come on. We've got Nelly Corder as well, who'll be walking out shortly, the world #1. We've not touched on her on day 1 of the AIG Women's Open. She tees off at just after 1:15 alongside Aria Jutanagan, former champion, of course, and Angel Yin. What do we make of Nelly Corder's chances coming in? Because uncharacteristically for Nelly Corder, there's been no win in the books so far. It's what we've come to expect of her, though, Sophie.
It is, after last year's just phenomenal season. I like the look of Nelly. Her ball flight, she says she likes to see the ball come out low. She likes a lower trajectory. I think she's the best 3-wood player in the world, and you're going to need these 3-woods a lot out here. Ran so close last year at St Andrews. I mean, she was tearful coming off that 18th green because she was right in it, and she would take that going into Sunday, just getting in the mix. She's had a handful of top 10s. Would just love that major championship. If she does, she gets to that 3rd major, and I think in the women's game at the moment, 3 seems to be the one that everyone's looking at. We're seeing Lydia Ko get there, Minji Lee get there, and Nelly will be thinking, well, I've only got 1 more chance to do that this year. World #1. I mean, it's hard to say she's going under the radar because nobody's talking about her, but you know, you should be. That is a stellar 3-ball that you'll be following later, Kat.
I will. I'm out with them. I can't wait for that on AIG Women's Open Radio and 5 Sports Extra. It's windy, though, Randy, and she doesn't like the wind. You are also tall. She's 5'10", so you've got another kind of foot on Nelly Corder. Yeah. She says it makes her sway, and you say it gives you the same problem when you play golf.
I do. I empathize with that. You know, I think... it's just if you don't have a wide, solid base, you know, if it gets really windy, you do feel that swaying motion. And I know for Nelly, she says it can really affect her golf swing. It can lead to some bad habits. And so it'll be interesting this week. I think today's a big day for Nelly Corder, right? I think she has to post a good score. Certainly doesn't have to be leading today, but I would love to see her get out, be amongst that top 20 and really set herself up for the next 3 days, Sophie.
There's a myth that she's not great in bad conditions. I've seen her on the Ladies European Tour shoot some incredible rounds, and that, for me, is a total myth.
So Nelly Corder, the world #1, she tees off at 16 minutes past 3. Looking down the leaderboard, we have a big bunch of players at 3 under par. Shiho Kawaki of Japan, Mao Saigo of Japan, Chisato Iwai of Japan. We've been talking about the depth and the strength in Japanese women's golf. Andrea Lee of America also at 3 under par. Gino Titican, the world #2, she is at 3 under par. Alexa Pano at 3 under par, and Sara Kuskova is at 3 under par. Thank you very much to Sophie and to Randy for your company here on the range. Day one of the AIG Women's Open. But from me, for now, we'll get out to the action and we'll get back to the commentary. We'll bring you every shot now for the afternoon here, live on AIG Women's Open Radio and on BBC 5 Sports Extra.
Live from Royal Porthcawl, this is AIG Women's Open Radio.